All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're going to be dissecting Spotify's Q4 2024 shareholder deck,
Ooh.
their end-of-year report card, and let me tell you, it's packed with some really fascinating insights.
Yeah.
So get ready, because we're going to discover what exactly propelled Spotify's success and what it all might tell us about the future of audio entertainment.
One thing that really jumps out at me is not just the impressive figures themselves,
Yeah.
but what they really reveal about Spotify's global impact.
Mm-hmm.
Millions and millions of people are choosing Spotify for their audio needs, and that's a powerful testament to their strategy, I think.
Totally. Spotify wrapped up 2024 exceeding practically all expectations, and they hit record profitability.
It's amazing.
But let's break down some of these numbers,
Yeah.
starting with user growth.
Okay.
A record 35 million new monthly active users, MAUs, joined in Q4 alone,
Wow.
bringing their total to a whopping 675 million.
Yeah, and it's not just about the sheer volume of users, right? The growth is spread all across the world, with particularly strong numbers in the rest of world and Latin America.
Interesting.
This really tells me that their expansion strategy into these new markets is really paying off.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
Yeah.
they added 11 million premium subscribers, which matched their record from 2019,
Wow.
for a total of 263 million premium subscribers.
It seems like people are ready to pay for that premium experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's driven by a few things.
Like what?
Well, their Wrapped and holiday campaigns were incredibly effective, I think, and then also some shifts in the competitive landscape probably played a role as well.
Speaking of Wrapped, I mean, that's kind of a phenomenon for Spotify.
It's huge.
Do you think that kind of success is sustainable?
It's a really good question.
Or could we be getting close to a saturation point?
Yeah.
I mean, how much bigger can Wrapped get?
Wrapped has definitely become this global phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it's a brilliant example, I think, of Spotify leveraging all that personalized data.
To create this really engaging experience.
For sure.
To answer your question, though,
Yeah.
they saw double-digit year-over-year growth in user engagement for Wrapped across 184 markets.
Wow.
It was their biggest Wrapped ever.
Wow.
So at least for now, it seems like there's still room to grow.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's shift gears and look at Spotify's financial performance.
Okay.
Their total revenue grew by 16% year over year, hitting $4.2 billion.
Yes, and what I find even more impressive is their record high gross margin,
Yeah.
32.2%.
Wow.
That's up significantly, 555 basis points year over year.
That's huge.
This, combined with a record operating income of $477 million,
Yeah.
led to their first full year of operating income profitability at $1.4 billion.
So we're seeing strong user growth, a
Yeah.
boost in premium subscribers,
Yeah.
and record profitability.
It seems like a pretty winning combination.
It does.
Spotify is clearly doing something right.
Yeah.
Attracting users, converting them to paying subscribers.
And doing it all while becoming more efficient and profitable.
Yeah, it's a very compelling story.
Totally.
All right, let's dive into some of Spotify's strategic moves.
Okay.
They just recently unveiled uninterrupted video podcasts for premium subscribers in select markets.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I mean, what are your thoughts on this development?
I think it's a really significant move
Okay.
because it really positions them to compete more directly with platforms like YouTube, right?
Oh, interesting.
Video podcasts are a growing segment of the market.
Definitely.
And by offering that ad-free experience for premium subscribers, Spotify is clearly aiming to capture a larger share of that audience.
So rather than just being an audio giant, they're really expanding their content ecosystem
Yes.
to become like a one-stop shop for both audio and video.
You got it.
I like it.
And, we can't forget about their commitment to creators either.
Right.
They've evolved Spotify for Podcasters into Spotify for Creators, which opens up the Spotify Partner Program for video podcasts and gives creators even better analytics and growth tools.
And they launched the Spotify Partner Program, which gives creators more ways to earn from their content.
Right.
Plus, they paid a record $10 billion in royalties to the music industry in 2024.
That's right.
That's a lot of money.
It is. And it's really emphasizing their commitment to supporting those creators who are the heart of their platform.
Yep.
They're really trying to foster that mutually beneficial relationship.
So they're really putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to supporting artists and creators.
Absolutely. And that investment really seems to be paying off in terms of both user growth and financial performance.
All of this kind of paints a very rosy picture for Spotify.
Yeah.
But what does their outlook for 2025 look like?
Hmm.
Do they expect this momentum to continue?
Well, for the first quarter of 2025, they are projecting continued growth. They're
Okay.
aiming for 678 million MAUs and 265 million premium subscribers. They're also forecasting revenue of 4.2 billion and a gross margin of 31.5%.
So even with a slight dip in the gross margin, their revenue projections remain really strong.
Yeah, and it's important to note that those projections take into account an anticipated benefit to growth due to foreign exchange rate movements, but it also includes 18 million in social charges.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
You mentioned social charges a minute ago,
Yeah.
but I think it's worth explaining that a bit more for our listeners.
Sure.
What exactly are social charges, and why are they impacting Spotify's financial projections?
That's a great point. So social charges are essentially payroll taxes that are tied to employee salaries and benefits.
Okay.
They're not unique to Spotify, but they are a significant cost factor for any company operating in countries where these charges apply.
So it's just part of the cost of doing business internationally.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really interesting for Spotify specifically.
Okay.
A portion of these social charges is directly linked to the value of their share-based compensation awards. What that means is, as their stock price fluctuates, so too can the taxes they accrue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So if Spotify's stock price goes up, their social charges could increase even if their headcount and salaries remain the same.
Precisely. And the opposite is also true.
Wow.
If their stock price dips, those social charges could decrease.
Mhm.
It adds kind of a layer of complexity to their financial forecasting because they don't try to predict stock price changes in their guidance.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
I never would have thought about stock price fluctuations impacting a company's tax burden in that way.
Yeah, it's a nuance that often gets overlooked, but it's a significant factor for companies like Spotify that rely heavily on share-based compensation to attract and retain talent.
Well, this deep dive has already been incredibly illuminating.
Yeah.
It's clear that Spotify had a phenomenal Q4 in 2024, exceeding expectations on user growth, premium subscriptions, and profitability.
Totally.
They're making strategic moves to solidify their position as a leader in both audio and video entertainment. And their commitment to empowering creators seems to be paying off.
Definitely.
But as we've been discussing, they also face challenges
Yeah.
like economic uncertainty, fierce competition,
Right.
and navigating complex financial considerations like those social charges.
Yeah, definitely.
As they continue to grow and evolve, I
Yeah.
think it's really crucial to consider the bigger picture implications of their success.
Totally. Totally agree.
So I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on what Spotify's trajectory tells us about the future of audio entertainment.
Okay.
What are the key trends that you're seeing?
That's a great question. I think Spotify's success highlights a few key trends that
Oh.
are shaping the future of how we consume audio and video content.
Okay.
Firstly, the demand for streaming is undeniably skyrocketing. People are increasingly opting for on-demand content over traditional media like radio.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
I can't remember the last time I listened to the radio.
exactly. It's all
fair.
streaming now.
And secondly, personalization is paramount.
Users expect tailored experiences, and Spotify is really a master at this.
Yeah.
Features like Wrapped, Discover Weekly, and even their AI BJ
Yeah.
really cater to this desire for personalized content discovery.
I love my Discover Weekly.
Me too.
I know I love exploring my Wrapped each year,
Yeah.
but it does make you think about data privacy
Right?
and how our listening habits are being used.
Yeah.
It's a really important point. The desire for personalized experiences often comes with trade-offs, and data privacy is a significant consideration.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
And what about the third trend?
Oh, the third trend.
Yeah.
The third trend is the rise of the creator economy. Spotify's commitment to empowering creators through initiatives like the Spotify Partner Program is a testament to this.
Yeah.
Platforms that prioritize creators and provide them with the tools and resources to succeed will be the ones that thrive in the long run.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's amazing how Spotify has created this ecosystem
Yeah.
that benefits both creators and consumers.
For sure.
But as we touched on earlier, their dominance also raises some questions about responsibility and potential downsides.
You're right. As Spotify continues to grow and shape the audio entertainment landscape, it's really important to have those open and honest conversations about their influence and the potential implications, both positive and negative.
Yeah. Like, for example, there's the ongoing debate about fair artist compensation in the streaming era.
Exactly. Some argue that despite Spotify's record payouts, per-stream royalty rates are still too low for many artists to make a sustainable living.
That's a really good point.
It's a really complex issue
Yeah.
with no easy answers, but it's a conversation that needs to happen.
Totally agree. And then there's also the potential for algorithmic bias.
Yes, algorithmic bias is a valid concern.
Yeah.
Spotify's algorithms play a huge role in what users discover. And if those algorithms aren't designed with fairness and transparency in mind, it could lead to certain artists or genres being unfairly favored or suppressed.
It's like we're relinquishing control of our musical tastes to these algorithms.
In a way, yes, it's something to be mindful of
Yeah.
as we navigate this increasingly algorithm-driven world.
This conversation has certainly given me a lot to think about.
Good.
What are your final thoughts for our listener as they continue to explore and engage with Spotify?
I would encourage them to think critically about Spotify's role in their own lives.
Okay.
How does it shape their listening habits? How does it impact the artists and creators they love?
Yeah.
And how can they use their voice and their choices to ensure they are engaging with this platform in a way that aligns with their values?
Those are really powerful questions, and I think they apply to our relationship with any platform, not just Spotify.
Totally agree.
Absolutely. As users, we have more power than we realize.
Yeah.
Our choices and our voices can really shape the future of these platforms and the industries they impact. Well, this deep dive has been both fascinating and thought-provoking.
I agree.
We've covered so much ground, from Spotify's impressive financial performance to the broader trends shaping the future of audio entertainment.
Absolutely.
But there's still more to explore.
There is.
In our next episode, we'll delve even deeper into Spotify's financial statements
Oh, great.
to gain a more comprehensive understanding of their financial health and future prospects.
Looking forward to it.
We'll break down the complexities of their balance sheet, their cash flow statement, and other key metrics to give you, the listener, a clearer picture of their financial standing.
Sounds good.
And we'll continue to explore the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for Spotify in 2025 and beyond,
Okay.
including their expansion into new markets and content formats and the evolving regulatory landscape.
It's a complex and fascinating landscape, and I'm excited to continue this exploration with you in our next episode.
So be sure to join us for the final part of our Spotify Deep Dive,
Yes.
where we'll wrap up our analysis and leave you with some final thoughts and insights.
See you there.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into Spotify's world.
I'm excited for this.
We explored their really impressive Q4 2024 performance, their strategic moves, and we even pondered some of the larger implications of their success.
Yeah.
But as promised, we're not done yet.
No.
Today, we're putting on our financial analyst hats and taking a closer look at Spotify's financial statements.
That's right. We're going beyond just the headlines, right?
Yeah.
And really diving into the nitty-gritty of their balance sheet, cash flow statement, and other key metrics to get a better grasp on their overall financial health and what it might tell us about their future.
Now, I know financial statements can seem a little daunting to some, but I promise we'll break it down in a way that's clear and engaging, even if you're not a finance whiz.
Exactly. We'll decode all that jargon and explain what these numbers actually mean in terms of Spotify's ambitions and growth.
So let's start with the balance sheet.
Okay.
What are some of the key takeaways you've gleaned from analyzing Spotify's assets, liabilities, and equity?
Well, one thing that really stands out to me is Spotify's commitment to investing in long-term growth. They've made significant investments in research and development, as well as acquiring new content and expanding into new markets.
That makes sense, considering their push into video podcasts and their focus on international expansion.
Right.
But how are these investments actually reflected on their balance sheet?
Well, you'll see a substantial increase in what are called intangible assets, which includes things like intellectual property, software, and goodwill. And this really reflects the value that they've built through their platform, their technology, and even their brand recognition.
So even though these assets aren't physical, they still represent a significant part of Spotify's overall value.
Absolutely. And on the liability side, It's worth noting that their long-term debt has increased
Hmm.
as they finance these growth initiatives.
Okay.
However, their strong revenue growth
Hmm.
and improving profitability
Right.
indicate that they're well positioned to manage this debt.
That's good. So they're taking on some debt to fuel their growth,
Yeah,
but they're also generating enough revenue to handle it responsibly.
precisely. Now let's shift over to the cash flow statement.
Okay.
This is where we can really see how the money is moving in and out of the business.
Right. It gives us a glimpse into Spotify's operational efficiency
Yeah.
and their ability to generate cash from their core operations.
Exactly. And one of the key takeaways here is that Spotify has a really strong track record
Okay.
of generating positive cash flow from operations.
Okay.
And this is crucial for a company that's investing so heavily in growth
Right.
because it means they're not solely reliant on external financing.
That's a good sign. So they're generating enough cash from their core business
Yeah,
to fund their expansion,
right.
which is a sign of a healthy and sustainable business model.
It is. And then looking at their investing activities,
Hmm.
we see a significant outflow of cash for acquisitions and capital expenditures, but that's in line with their strategic goals.
Right. And on the financing side.
So on the financing side, they've raised capital through debt and equity offerings to help support their growth.
Okay.
So overall, the cash flow statement really reflects a company that's strategically using its financial resources
Right.
to drive that future growth.
All right. So we looked at the balance sheet, the cash flow statement. Are there any other key metrics or ratios that stand out to you
Yeah.
when you're assessing Spotify's financial health?
Yeah, there are a couple of things.
Like what?
Well, their gross margin is a really key indicator of their profitability, and it's been steadily improving, which indicates their increasing efficiency in delivering their service.
Okay.
Another important metric is their monthly active user growth rate, their MAU growth rate.
Right.
This shows us how well they're attracting and retaining users, which
Right.
is just crucial for a subscription-based business.
And as we discussed earlier, their MAU growth has been phenomenal. It seems like they're striking a good balance between attracting new users and keeping their existing subscribers engaged.
They are, and their ability to convert free users to paying subscribers is also critical for their long-term success.
So looking at all this data, what's your overall assessment of Spotify's financial health?
Okay.
Are they in a good position to continue their growth trajectory and achieve their ambitious goals?
Based on their current financial performance and their strategic initiatives, I'd say they are in a very strong position for continued growth.
Okay.
They have a solid balance sheet, strong cash flow generation, and impressive user growth metrics.
Yeah.
And they're also making smart investments in areas like content, technology, and international expansion.
But as we've discussed, they're not without their challenges.
Right. They face increasing competition, economic uncertainty, and the complexities of navigating a global market.
And as their influence grows, so too does the scrutiny of their business practices
For sure.
and their impact on artists, the music industry, and even society at large.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a reminder that financial success is just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Spotify, like any company, has a responsibility to use its power and influence ethically and sustainably.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder to all of us as consumers to be mindful of the choices we make and the companies we support.
Well, this deep dive into Spotify's financial statements has given us a much deeper understanding of the forces driving their success,
It has.
as well as the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
Yeah.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope our listeners have found as insightful as I have.
Me too. It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
So what are your parting thoughts for our listeners as they continue to engage with Spotify and navigate this ever-evolving world of audio entertainment?
I would encourage them to stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. The world of audio entertainment is constantly changing,
Yeah.
and it's really up to us as consumers to shape its future. We have the power to choose the platforms we support, the content we consume, and the values we prioritize.
That's a great point. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Spotify.
Of course.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
We'll see you next time.